Hi guys, good morning. Avinash got you all drunk. We have coffee getting ready. I'll wake you all up, don't worry. Um, I'll get straight into it because we have a long day ahead. And I know a lot of you all are pretty nervous and pretty tensed as well. Not you though. Uh, but however, I don't want to get you all more tensed. So I'm here to talk about coffee. Right, you heard what I do. I own a company called Benki Brewing Tools. I own Benki Coffee. I own Specialty Coffee Academy of India, where we train coffee professionals. We are based out of Delhi, Chikmagalur, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Jaipur now. Right, this is where we have our schools and offices, and we also manufacture a lot of coffee equipment. And I'm an authorized trainer myself from Specialty Coffee Association, and I've judged a lot of coffee competitions in India and overseas as well. All right, so this is what I do. So we'll get into it straight. My name is Suhas. Uh, you can ask questions in between if you want. You don't have to wait for the end of the presentation or the end of the day. So a lot of bartenders here. We have a lot of baristas for sure. They know coffee. They live, they breathe coffee. But bartenders, please start making coffee. Please start drinking coffee. Right? We need more coffee professionals in the country. Bartenders, we have enough, and it's pretty advanced. Not Avinash says no. He's finding it difficult to find good bartenders. But then we face the same challenge, even worse than the bar industry. So the need of the hour is for us Indians to drink better coffee, understand coffee better, and brew coffee better, and convey that better to the people, correct? And bartenders play a very crucial role because you all have been doing this for a very long time, and you all can speak really well, better than us baristas, right? Everyone agrees, baristas? No? Yeah, no. See, baristas are very silent that way. So bartenders, you have better storytelling ability and all of these things. So you should also help us baristas get the word out there and then talk more about coffee. And it is becoming prominent. Globally, this already is very prominent. A restaurant which is a fine dine Italian restaurant or let's say a Japanese restaurant, fine dine Japanese restaurant is serving coffee now. Not in India yet, but globally, yes. And bars serve coffee and really good coffee. And especially in a lot of Asian countries, this revolution is pretty advanced, and then all of the bars globally are serving amazing coffee. So today I want to talk about, I'm not going to be sharing, this is not going to be a class. I want to speak more out of my experience and then what I know and what I've been doing for so many years. So coffee is not just coffee. So a lot of us just think, if when you ask someone, how does coffee taste? Most of us tell that coffee tastes like coffee, correct? We all never say that coffee tastes like strawberries or jasmine or any of those fruits or floral aromas. Sometimes even bad as well. Sometimes some coffees taste like cigarettes, right? Smokers would enjoy, but others won't probably. But however, coffee is just not coffee. Coffee has so many characters to it. It can taste like flowers, it can taste like fruits, it can taste like vegetables. Like I said, it can also taste like a cigarette. Correct? So that is something that you all need to know. I'm sure you would relate this to single malt whiskeys that you would drink or wines that you would drink. They have a lot of character. Wine is just not wine. Same way, coffee is just not coffee. You will find a whole spectrum of flavors in coffee as well. Correct? So, and bartenders, you know how to play with flavors. So try to understand flavors in coffee so you can make better coffee cocktails. Right? So there's a flavor wheel that we use. That's a low resolution flavor wheel right there. You can Google it, you will find a high resolution one. It's very similar to the flavor wheels that you find in wine and whiskey and other beverages. Cool? So you can use those flavor wheels to try to identify different flavors that coffee has. And coffees from different regions, same like wine, from different regions taste different. Coffee also is the same. So if you were to go to a farm, let's say in Chikmagalur, everyone's heard of Chikmagalur and Coorg, a same farm which is big will have coffees which taste different. A coffee tree that grows next to a lake, the coffee from that tree would taste different than the one that is right next to the road, for example, because it gets different sunlight, it gets different amount of rain, so many other aspects. The flora and fauna also play a crucial role. So coffee from the same region might also not taste same. It will taste different. So that is something that you all need to understand and try to, like Avinash was talking about, I found this berry in the Himalayas and then I brought it. Yeah, why do you do that? Because the berry there tastes so different than the berry that grows in Kanakpura, right? So that's the reason why you go procure that berry and then make that cocktail. The same thing with coffee as well. A coffee from a different region, a coffee from different farm would taste different. And different processing methods also play a crucial role. In whiskey, you have cask aged, you have barrel aged, you have so many other kinds. Same way with coffee, a processing method makes a huge difference as well. So that is something that you will need to know. And with that understanding, you can make better coffee cocktails or mocktails. Yeah. So coffee signature beverage. I'm not going to try to teach you like how Avinash did, because it will be like me teaching how to make syrups to Vaishali, or how to roast to Tyler, or how to impress girls like Arvind. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to say how I create coffee mocktails. I don't create cocktails yet, but I would love to. I've been bugging Avinash for a long time that we should do a project together where we make coffee cocktails. But however, for now, I make coffee mocktails, and then I'll tell you how I go about creating a mocktail. Probably that will inspire you and maybe give you some ideas as well as to how I look at things. So we call it a signature beverage. We don't call it a cocktail or a mocktail. That's what us coffee people call it, a signature beverage. So one of the methods that I use is a color method. All right? Any guesses? Do you all want to take a guess as to what a color method is? Has anyone heard of this? As to how a color method works? Yeah.
Pick an ingredient which is in a certain group of colors. So for example, I've never heard of this. If you pick like a red apple, then you might want to pair it with maybe a group of the same colors or a contrasting color, because a contrasting flavor maybe. Like
exactly. So that's the color method. So when I taste the coffee, and then I try to recognize the different flavors that the coffee has, right? So let's take example of my barista championship. It had cherry flavor notes in them, right? Very subtle. Cherries are red in color. So I started looking at the color spectrum, and then I saw what are all the foods that are red in color. And I thought about tomato. Tomato is red. I used a lacto-fermented tomato in my coffee beverage, and it worked, right? I got the best signature beverage as well, so the judges liked it too. So like a plum is purple in color, it would go with a brinjal, right? How you treat the brinjal, I don't know. I haven't tried, but then it will go with a brinjal. You could basically bake it, squeeze, get the juice out, and then add it to a coffee that has plum flavor notes in it, and it would go along with it. So you can try this. It really does work. I have tried it multiple times, and it does work. We will bring out coffees with jackfruit syrup. Jackfruit is one of my favorite fruits. So the coffee that we're using is a fermented washed coffee, and it has ripe yellow fruit flavors. It has like a jackfruit, anything yellow, ripe, like a ripe pineapple sort of a fruit note to it, the actual coffee. So we have paired it with jackfruit. Guys, can we bring the jackfruit out? With ice cubes, please. So we are making a cold one. These are espresso-based beverages, so they are made fresh. So we are making it iced lattes. It's a jackfruit latte. So I'm pairing a coffee that has yellow, fermenty, ripe fruit notes with a jackfruit syrup from Spa, right? So you could try it and then see if there is synergy to it. If there is no synergy, it'll put you off. But otherwise, you will taste the coffee and then you will see if there is synergy. Right. So that is the color method. So think wild, have an open mind when you're creating beverages. That's what at least I do. I keep an open mind, and then I say, let's try random fruits, random food items along with coffee. So that's how you will see the jackfruit latte. So I'll go to the next method, the Miss Universe method. Yeah, everyone likes a Miss Universe, right? Especially the guys. I mean, some girls as well, maybe. Well, Well, the Miss Universe method is I go about trying to find a dish or a food or a beverage or a fruit that most of us like. If I'm creating for India, if I'm creating for Bangalore, I think of a fruit that most of us would like. Like jackfruit is a very local flavor. Like Indians would really relate to it. If I go show it to a foreigner, I'm pretty sure that he wouldn't have tried it. Most of them probably would have tried a durian, but not a jackfruit. So most of my friends overseas, when I ask them, have you tried a jackfruit? They haven't. They don't know what it is. So I go about doing that. Like how a Miss Universe is popular, I take a very popular flavor note or a fruit or a dish, and then I go about working around that. So a Miss Universe, she needs to be a complete package, right? She needs to be smart, she needs to be looking good, she needs to have a good taste in things. She would get asked random questions, she has to be able to answer that. That would impress the whole judges panel. That's how the beverage should be. So it needs to have a good aftertaste, it needs to have a good texture, a good body, and then a good start to it, like probably in terms of acidity, or in terms of the first aroma that you take. When you take the cup close to your mouth, the first thing that you experience is the aroma, right? So it needs to be the whole package. So that is the Miss Universe approach that I get. And this I use mostly in the commercial applications, not for competitions. The reason is because when in a commercial establishment, you need to try to impress the most amount of people as possible. So 80% of your crowd needs to be impressed by this beverage. So that's how I work around and then create a coffee mocktail this way. So I call it the Miss Universe method. Right? So jackfruit, again, a very South Indian sort of a flavor. We make curries out of it. We make pickles out of it. I don't know what's it called in English, but apalya is what we call in Kannada. So we make that out of jackfruit. So it's a very local flavor, and they're super impressed. Yeah. So that's how I went about creating this. I did use it in one of the competitions as well, and it did win the best signature beverage when I used jackfruit in the competition. So the other way that I try to do it, especially for India, we are not native coffee drinkers. We are all chai drinkers, correct? Even today, it's a common misconception that South India drinks more coffee than chai. No, South India also drinks more chai than coffee. Yeah. Even Tamil Nadu, we say coffee is the most consumed beverage in Tamil Nadu. Absolutely not. Chai is still the most consumed beverage. So we all are used to be drinking coffee with milk, with chicory, and with sugar. Chicory, if you all don't know what it is a vegetable. It was used as an adulterant, and now it has become a rampant, and then everybody likes coffee with chicory. So this is what we are used to. And when you try to get someone to drink coffee, like somebody who's drinking Jack and Coke, if you were to give him whiskey on the rocks, he wouldn't like it, correct? You all agree, bartenders agree. The same challenge we face as baristas. So if I were to get a non-coffee drinker or a traditional coffee drinker to drink a black coffee, he would absolutely hate it. He would just say it's bitter. Even though it has these subtle fruity notes, he would say it's bitter. So I always try to soften the blow. What does that mean? I try to add a little bit of something, just a little bit. Not to overpower, not to mask the coffee, but just to complement what the coffee already has. And that's how I soften the blow, and I create a beverage that will please the audience. So next beverage that will come out is called a Kurgi Americano. What was my inspiration for this? Americano, we all know, Americano is just water and espresso, right? There's cold version of it, there is hot version of it as well. So this is a cold version that you're going to try. A Kurgi Americano, when you go to a Kurgi household, Kurg is a region in south of India, in Karnataka, where coffee is grown. When you go to a traditional Kurgi household, they don't serve you coffee with sugar or with milk. They serve you a black cup of coffee with jaggery, black jaggery mostly. So they put the coffee, water on a pan on the flame, and then they just keep mixing it with black jaggery. And then they filter it with a muslin cloth. This is how traditionally a Kurgi household makes coffee. So the inspiration is from there. So we took an Italian Americano and we just added the jaggery syrup from Swa. Right? So this makes the beverage a little more sweeter, makes it easier for the non-traditional coffee drinkers to drink it. And this also is one of the most sold beverages in our cafe, which is Binky Coffee, because this is what we recommend to non-coffee drinkers. When they come to us and then see a menu like with 40 coffee beverages, they say, hey, I drink South Indian filter coffee, and what should I be drinking? We say, why don't you try the Kurgi Americano? It's the simplest and the easiest, and is super easy to make and very easy to drink as well, because it's mildly sweet and then it has a lot of coffee flavor as an aftertaste. Yeah? After you drink, it's just coffee that stays back on your palate. So this is what we do. This is what I call soften the blow. So you could do this with any of the flavors. Any questions so far? Too confusing? Coffee is too boring for you bartenders? Because no one's getting drunk on coffee? Yeah? Yeah, it's my biggest complaint. Like a cocktail, a person can have 5 cups or 6 glasses of a cocktail, but coffee just 1 or 2 at the max. So we'll never make as much money as you all do. But that's okay. So this is how these are the techniques that I use to convert a person to be drinking black coffee, right? So this is how you bring someone to the dark side and then get them to drink their coffee black, absolutely black, because that's the best way to have a coffee, like how you have your scotch, how you have your whiskey, how you have your wine is black or neat. That is how you need to have your coffee as well. But at the same time, like for a country like India, every other country went through different stages of coffee consumption or their knowledge levels, but we sort of skipped the level. Yeah, we never had this culture where we didn't go through the frappe and the flavored latte stage in country. In small parcels, in some of the big cities, it did happen, but by and large, the country did not go through that revolution. We went straight from chai to specialty coffee. Yeah, we skipped like this whole 2 decades. Yeah, so or we went from instant coffee to specialty coffee. So we lost like 20 years compared to rest of the world. So it is all the more important for us to be creating coffee mocktails so that we truly become a coffee drinking nation from a chai drinking nation. Correct? So any chai lovers here, please don't take offense. Yes, we hate chai drinkers from the bottom of our heart because that's our biggest competition. Right? So that's how you make people come to the dark side. I hope you enjoyed the Kurgi Americano, and then I hope you enjoyed the jackfruit latte as well. Very Indian take on a latte. And I'm open to questions if you have any, now that you have woken up after all the alcohol with the coffees. Yeah. Any questions at all? Yeah, mine was sweet and short.
Coffee rave over like silent coffee, like
A silent coffee would be better, I think. Coffee rave is...
yeah, because it's like trending right now.
Yeah. No, I don't see the purpose of a coffee rave. Coffee should be enjoyed in peace, in silence, is what I feel. And techno, heavy metal, and coffee, I don't think really go well with each other.
Yeah.
But it's a personal preference. It depends also on how much of coffees you have had. After 10 cups of coffee, you like it or not, you will start dancing. So then any music will do. Yeah.
Suhas, what do you think is happening with the coffee? Do you think more of Vietnamese or Malaysian coffee would come to India? Because I think from filter coffee, we moved to all the Italian coffees.
Correct.
And now you see Malaysian cafes like Kopi Timla does Malaysian style coffee. But do you see more these kind of coffees coming in? And if there are, what other coffees which we don't know of which would come to India?
So India historically has never taken to foreign coffee, foreign style of coffees. If you see any brand that came in and tried to create a revolution in the country, it never was successful. You take Costa, you take, don't quote me on it, they are customers, Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, and so many other foreign chains. Even Kopi Keninian is here now. They are a huge, they are a unicorn. and then they have entered the country. But foreign coffee brands have always struggled and always tried to always struggled to Indianize their offering. I'm not sure why the Indian audience doesn't really like foreign brands. But even if you see the Vietnamese, right? The Vietnamese that we drink here in India is very Indianized, very sweet, with a lot of condensed milk. We don't have the egg whites. So we take something that's foreign and then we Indianize it. I mean, examples are also these big brands like KFC, McDonald's, and Domino's. Until they launched the tandoori paneer pizza, they were not successful. And so was the McDonald's. Until they launched the aloo tikki, they were not successful. Aloo tikki burger. So we will have to Indianize, and then I would love for Indian brands to be stronger than the foreign brands. But however, there will be a lot of new entrants. There's a Colombian brand that is opened in India. That's a South American brand. This is the first time a Colombian brand has come. We'll have to wait and see if we will take to these brands, but I strongly feel that it's very difficult because India is a whole different monster.
Hi, Suhas.
Hi.
First of all, the jackfruit latte as well as the Kurgi Americano were beautiful.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
My question to you is, like Avinash was mentioning about the proportions in which we mix alcohol with other sodas or water.
Yeah.
What would be the right proportions to mix coffee? Let's say if you're making a latte or an Americano, what would be the right proportions?
See, again, like I was just continuing what I was answering Avinash, right? Like, we are not one country, India. We are multiple countries. So, for example, Kolkata, if I were to make the jackfruit latte for a cup of 8 ounce, I would just add maybe 5 to 10 ml of jackfruit. But whereas if I were to do Bangalore or Mumbai, I would do 30 ml of jackfruit. And even just my coffee recipe would change from city to city. Bangalore likes very bold, long aftertaste, intense coffees. Whereas if you go to Delhi, they like it very milky and cold coffees. So I really feel that the chains that are out there need to really localize, because we are not a single country, to be honest. Our cultures are so different. Every 200 kilometers, there's a survey that was done. Every 200 kilometers, the palates change, the liking change, and the spice level intensities change. So that is how I would look at it. If I were to open a chain tomorrow, I would really localize according to the region. And then it's a nightmare for the trainers and the operations managers and the SOPs. But I mean, to be really, really successful, that is what I would do. Yeah. Any more questions?
So I think what I would want to ask is, are we making this coffee X cocktails or coffee mixology, so Suhas, there's a reason why we said that we'll make this coffee X cocktails, right? First of all, I'm just going to be sort of shameless and ask, are we even doing the right thing? Does this thing make sense? And if it does, right, I would want sort of Avinash and Suhas to sort of tell us that, one, why this makes sense, and how anyone sitting here, right, can sort of see value in this. I know we discussed this, but that was separate. But maybe like right now, we have bartenders, we have baristas, and they have friends, other baristas and other bartenders, right? From where we see it, why it makes sense for SWA was because we saw that there is a wave. And for us, everything is about like community, right? So we want to see that there is a wave in coffee. And when we see around, look around, that everyone is trying to do things with coffee. You go to Araku, you go to, there was this whole podcast by Nikhil Kamath, and right, everyone's discussing how they are, different ways of consuming coffee, how they are building those drinks differently, which is not a barista skill set, right? Which is completely like a bartender skill set, right? Like how to layer the drinks and, right, all of those things. So which is why for me, from our perspective, it made total sense that these are complementary things, right? So my question to both of you is that how bartenders sitting here, why, if at all, they should learn coffee, whether it makes a business sense, whether it makes more career options, or things like that. Or from barista's perspective, why do they need to pay attention to what's happening in mixology, right? And you can sort of switch back and forth and give us some, whether this thing first of all makes sense. And yeah.
All right. So whenever I do something new, right? Whenever I want to do something new in life, right? Like in work-wise, I look at two things. It's commercial viability, and the second thing is it fulfilling my passion? Correct. So absolutely, it makes sense for baristas to become bartenders or to create beverages because or coffee cocktails itself. Right? So at the moment, bars don't do great business in the morning, right? When have you done a 7 a.m. shift? Or you have gone back home 7 a.m., right? No, yeah? You've never come to work at 7 a.m. because your bar is not making money at 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. So the commercial viability of a bar to get into coffee it makes absolute sense because you have the real estate, you have the infrastructure, so you would want to make optimum use of that place. So you can run your venue from 7 a.m. till 1 in the night, correct, with coffee in place. And that's the commercial side of it or the money side of things. But however, the passion side of things, so I always say barista's job is really, really difficult because we only have two ingredients to play with, water and coffee. We only have two ingredients to work with and impress the guest. But now I want to show my personality, show my innovativeness, etc. How do I do that? I want to show the passion that I have in me. How do I do that? With just water and coffee, I can only do so much because there is a cap on what is the best that I can do with these two ingredients. But above that, what can I do? So to showcase our skills, to showcase our personality, as baristas, we really like to create mocktails now and cocktails to show our innovativeness and to show our skills in terms of sensory, because that is absolutely necessary. You need to have really good sensory skills to be making amazing mocktails and cocktails. So this is the passion side of things. So that's why coffee and cocktails makes absolute sense and is the need of the hour as well, because coffee industry is learning from bartending, learning from alcohol, learning from wine, whiskey, etc., other beverages, because they are so much more advanced and people have been getting drunk a longer time than they have been drinking coffee. So that's the reason why I see absolute synergy in coffee and cocktails. That's also the reason why I keep asking Avinash, let's open a place together. Over to you.
Yeah, we will. You got money in the bank? Then let's open. Okay, I think fundamentally the biggest motivation for us to do what we do is money. Do you all agree with me? Right? And if the passion can make money, it's amazing. But if your passion does not make money, passion is out of the window. I mean, that's the fact. But essentially, I believe that if you have knowledge, that's your power. And the more you learn, the more you earn. And you should never, ever give up. Right? I wanted to be part of this whole coffee and cocktails is because it's two communities with great set of skills with them coming together to do something, right? Generally, I don't endorse any syrup brands apart from Swa. I have kept a lot of people unhappy for it. But I wanted to be part of this because I know Suhas really well. We've been good friends for a while now. And I admire the kind of work, what he does with coffee. And if as a community, we can share our knowledge and it is going to bring out something for all of us, which is going to increase our knowledge and also give us that skills to make money. I mean, skills pay bills. It's that what it is. So we want you to take this platform and share knowledge and also take whatever we have with us and, learn those skills and grow. And I think that's the intent, Vaishali, as well, for why we are doing this, if I may say.
Yes, because I feel sometimes that the coffee folks are playing on back foot. Okay? Yeah. I don't get cricket, but this reference I get. So the whole idea is that there is a surge and I think it's a great opportunity for bartenders also to sort of understand coffee and get into doing drinks with coffee. And I don't mean just alcoholic drinks, right? Enjoying like a beverage experience does not always need to sort of have alcohol. It could be like a really premium savoring experience that you have. And I think that's what all of us want. We are building like experiences. We are trying to build really premium, good experiences. And so I feel that with the coffee surge, and I think the whole sort of country is talking about it, nobody's ever going to give up liquor, unfortunately. So, आप तो सही line
all
पे हो.
the Gen Z is becoming non-alcoholics.
Right. Yeah. So that surge also, like I was reading a report recently, is not just internationally. Internationally, of course, sober drinks are taking over, but even in India, the percentages are slowly increasing, right?
So very fast rate.
Exactly. So how do we sort of create that, and then coffee comes in at the right time, and then if there is a mix, like if you make friends here and do your own thing, right? Like with a barista and a bartender, and that's the whole idea. That's the whole agenda, to make teams, to build together. And yeah, like how Avinash and Suhas have so kindly come together. You want to say something?
The first thing I learned from Suhas was stop bad coffee. He gave me a badge that I can wear on my
Well, what Vaishali said was right. It is super important for us to exchange ideas. I mean, like I was sitting there, I was talking to Avinash, and I was talking to him about the World Championship, and then he gave me an idea, like I think which can really work, because my coffees are very floral, and then he gave me an idea that can increase the aromatics of my coffee, right? So I strongly feel that it'll work. And then he's a bartender, I'm a barista, but then I got to learn something from him today, right? So the same thing can happen both ways. Because going forward, like Vaishali said, the alcohol consumption is coming down. Gen Z doesn't drink alcohol anymore. And that's why the coffee raves are becoming more popular and things like this. So I think we both can exchange a lot of ideas and then come up with really creative ways to conquer the country right now and take over India very quickly. But because we can't take cues from some other country. We can't say this happened in UK, so we should do that. It has never worked, and it will never work for India, I feel. So we'll have to create our own trend. We'll have to create, we have to set our own trends, where Indian trends are copied by other countries, like how we are doing it today, like the Vietnamese coming over or the Italian beverages coming over. We'll have to create our own so that this happens. And this can only happen if the bartenders and the baristas like sort of work together. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi guys, thank you very much. All the best for your competitions. Don't get too drunk.